today. This episode's just going to be talking about, well, the title is the curveball of negativity. So just pretty much all things I tied in hate and negativity together, but just things talking about people projecting hate onto you and pretty much a lot of stuff along the lines of that. But as always, I got a little context before I get into it, and we're going to go straight into the first thing. But the first thing I got is kind of explaining what I'm about to talk about. The world has a lot of love, prosperity, legacy, and greatness within it, but it has just as much evil, pessimism, and violence within it as all. What am I saying? As well. That's what I meant to say. The key is to be aware of hate and negativity, not to let it consume you and confuse you with who you say you are, but who you are yet to become in the near future. People will question you, gaslight you, and puzzle you into believing their projections of who they truly are deep down. Don't let anyone dim your light just because they haven't developed the courage to light their own. So with that being said, let's get into the first thing. First thing is, I don't know what that was, but just ignore that. Anyway, first thing, being aware of who truly cares about you, because whenever hate and negativity is present, it's really easy to forget about people that really care about you and people that really will take time out of their day to, support you and, show you on and just give you kudos when, you're just kind of doing your thing. And I just think when hate is present, it's so, it's so easy to just pay attention to haters and people that dislike you for whatever reason, even if you necessarily haven't done anything wrong to them. It's so easy to just focus on that, because I feel like as human beings we're more attracted to hate than love and positivity. It's not necessarily that we like being hated. I just think that being someone saying some OD, just calling you out your name and just being negative and pessimistic, that stands out more than someone showing love. And then it's kind of a side tangent, but just especially if that's how you grew up with people just talking down on you, and maybe family members didn't really treat you the best and just treated you like crap, to be honest. And then when someone goes out their way to compliment you, you're kind of like, whoa, I've never experienced this, because you're just so tailored to just kind of being hated on and just being belittled in a sense. So I think it's more glaring, it's more flashy than being positive, because being positive, I mean, it's cool and all, but just being hateful, I just feel like people, it's more entertaining. It's more entertaining to joke about someone and say, oh, they walk this way, oh, they talk this way, they look like this, and then just saying, oh, they have a nice shirt. I mean, because if you say they have a nice shirt, they'll probably say thank you, and that's it. But I mean, if you say something hateful, it'll just keep going on, and then you'll start getting attention from it. So I just think hating on people and talking down on people, making up, because listen, I like a good joke. I joke around, not specifically about people, just it'll be a funny Instagram reel of someone just doing something stupid, but at a certain point, at a certain threshold, people just joking and dogging on people, that's kind of hate in my opinion. I just think you're hating on them and you're just picking out things about them and just exploiting it just for your own entertainment, your own amusement. I don't really think that's the best way to go about it. But I mean, obviously, let's say I slipped on the ground and me and my friends start laughing, it's just kind of funny. But let's say there's someone who has, maybe they broke their leg, or maybe there's something, they might have a mental issue or whatever, and then you just take that and just kind of make fun of them and just try and play with them and manipulate them. I don't think that's right. I think there's a time and place to joke, but other than that, I just think being aware of who truly cares about you, that'll really help guide where you put your energy, instead of putting your energy towards people or things that are hateful and just not really the best thing to be around. It's just negative overall. But honestly, I wanted to kind of mention this too, kind of how I mentioned in the beginning, it might even be family members that secretly hate you. Sometimes a lot of family members might gaslight you into thinking you're crazy, or might use you as a crutch, or use you, they kind of become an anchor, and they try and make it seem like, oh, you have to do everything for them, and things like that. I mean, obviously family's family, and you should reciprocate love, but I just think at certain points, certain family members might use their authority to their advantage and try and downplay you. I know that sounds crazy, but I think a lot of people can relate to that. Even family members might be negative and pessimistic and, try and bring you down, and for whatever reason the case may be. But I think the key to that is just seeing what you can control in that situation, and just, dealing with it the best you can until, you get old enough or you get stable enough to, go your own way and part ways. But it could be anyone, it could be anything. So even if it's a friend, they might be more supportive and more caring than a brother or a mother. I mean, it depends, but it's just overall just being more aware of who's worth your time, and then, who you can really put your own energy into. I think that's just really important overall. But just leaning into people who welcome you and who are all in on joining your journey and mission and pursuit, and not those who want to secretly damage and destroy your character. I think that's the most important thing in this whole section I'm talking about. But next thing I want to talk about, I think this is a big one: hate versus constructive criticism. Because I don't really think people. Well, the thing is, I think certain people try and say, like, let's say if someone makes a joke about someone, and it sounds like they're hating. In reality, they are hating, but they're like, oh, it's just constructive criticism. Because there's been a lot of times when I was younger, people used to say, oh, it was just constructive criticism, why are you taking it to heart? In reality, they're just blatantly hating, and they're using the term constructive criticism to mask that. But anyway, constructive criticism is required for growth. It allows us to learn about things we can improve on, and things that we may have not executed the best on. And I think it's needed, and I think it's needed from people that really care about you, and people that actually, give a care about your life. Because if it just comes from, someone who could care less, honestly, that's destructive. That's just as destructive as them hating on you. I mean, it's honestly just kind of a trap. So I just think if it's someone like maybe your mom, if you're close to her, maybe a good friend, like, let's say, I don't know, you play a basketball game and you're kind of messing up on your dribble, and they're like, okay, maybe you should move to the right or the left, or, pivot here, pivot there, do a spin move. I don't know, just things like that. I mean, because I think a lot of people have yes men around them, and whatever they do is, gold. Like, I don't know, they could do the most crazy thing, and then they're still gonna be supporting them. I mean, it's good that you're supporting them, but you're supporting them for the wrong reason, so it looks OD. But I mean, obviously, when you do good for your respects and your standard, I mean, obviously they'll be there to, support you. But when you mess up, they need to be there, and you need to check yourself too as well. You can't just rely on people to check you. Obviously, you're the first person that should check you, but sometimes you might be in your own head and you might not see it, and you might need someone else or a mentor or whatever the case may be to explain and put it like into perspective, like, okay, you're doing this wrong, you need to fix it, and you need to learn from it. But other than constructive criticism, on the other end of that is hate, and I just think hate is more cloudy and chaotic. It's more just destructive and just a whole bunch of rah, just a whole bunch of BS going on. Like, it's just a lot of stuff being thrown at once. And then constructive criticism is more focused and intentional. There's a clear purpose behind it. I mean, there can be a clear purpose behind someone hating something or hating someone, but I feel like it's more deep rooted in envy and, anger, or maybe just upsetness within someone's self. But I think constructive criticism comes from a place of love and a place of care, like someone that, or you yourself giving yourself constructive criticism, or someone else giving you constructive criticism is coming from a place of, okay, I care about this person, or I care about this thing, and I'm trying to make it evolve and grow. And I just think if you're hating on someone or hating on something, you're trying to destroy it, and you're trying to knock it down to a lower state and kind of stop it from going. So I just think hate and constructive criticism should not be synonyms at all. They're two different things, because one leads to destruction, which would be hate in this case, and the other leads to construction, which would be constructive criticism. It's literally in the title of the thing, constructive criticism. It's criticism that will construct something to be better overall. But the third thing I want to talk about in terms of just negativity and hate, hate is a projection. Because when people, they might say, oh, you're trash, or oh, you can't do that, or oh, like, you're ugly, or whoop de whoop. I mean, most of the time, like 99.99% of the time, there is people that do things to people, and then that makes them quote unquote hate them, which that's a whole different thing. But overall, like, a lot of the times you'll just be doing your thing. Like, for me, like, I'll post a recipe video. There's been people that'll be like, why do you use tofu? Like, why, like, bro, like that, why'd you recreate that? And that's a classic, you messed it up. Like, people, the thing is, when it comes to food, music, fashion, there's really so many conflicting opinions that just because someone might not agree with the way you did something or the way you go about it, they're gonna dislike you for whatever reason. Just even if you're just doing your thing and you're the most positive person, jolly person in the world, someone's gonna find some to dislike about you, and it doesn't matter. That's another thing too. Like, I think this is why you should just honestly just be yourself and be authentically you, because it doesn't matter if you try and appear as this, like, a gangster, or you trying to appear as someone that has a bunch of money and someone that's just balling, or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter if you're poor or whatever the case may be. Someone's gonna find something to say, because if you're poor, they're gonna say you're a bum. If you're rich, you're gonna say, oh, you're egotistical, you flaunt your money too much. If you're good at basketball, they're gonna say, oh, it's genetics. If you're muscular, they're gonna say, oh, it's genetics. You take steroids. If you're good at running, oh, it's the shoes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's at least so many things I could pull out of thin air and throw at someone and project, just to make it seem like, oh, they're not deserving of this, and oh, because they took a shortcut. In reality, a lot of the times, like, let's say a Michael Jordan or a LeBron or Chris Bumstead, like, okay, this might be a interesting example, but obviously he's a pro bodybuilder. He's on steroids. At the same time, he's put in the work, the consistent hours, and the intentionality of his diet and nutrition to get to that point. And that, you can be on steroids, but if you don't apply intentionality and consistency, you're not gonna look as far as you're not gonna be in the caliber of a Chris Bumstead or a Arnold or a Dorian Yates at all. You're not even gonna be in that hemisphere. So it's just, I think a lot of people project certain things just because they don't want to put the time and the work and the consistency and the dedication to even get to the same bracket. And the thing is, not even the point of getting to the same bracket. It's just, in that same area, in that same, kind of talk of things. It's just they're afraid and they don't have the courage to get after it and actually see, okay, what is my full potential? Because I'm not going to lie, that's kind of scary to see. Okay, I have to be, there might be some cold nights I have to go out to run. There might be some days after work I don't want to go work out, and it's just a hard conversation you might have to have with yourself. And I just think the goal isn't to, well, okay, I'm gonna switch gears a little bit. The goal, like, whenever people say, oh, you're this, you're that, you don't do that, oh, you don't deserve this, oh, you were given this, you're not talented, whatever the case may be, is someone hating and calling you out your name, projecting. Because, I've done it before. You'll hear that, and honestly, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. People, well, I would say used to be, because honestly, it doesn't really bother me as much anymore, because I realize people are going to say something regardless. But whenever people say things that just are blatantly false, the first thing, I know what I used to do, and I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I'll be like just thinking it in my head, but I don't act on it. It's just, I want to reply to this person. I want to be right. I want to prove to myself, and I want to prove to them that that's not who I am. Because I don't want people thinking that I'm this in reality. It's not that, because I ain't gonna lie, it's annoying, and people just start gossiping and then making up lies. Obviously that would annoy you. So obviously your first instinct is to be like, oh wait, whoa, hold on, like, that's not true. But honestly, the truth will reveal itself. If someone's just trying to say, oh, you're this and that, I believe that your supporters and people that really care about you and your tribe, they'll deal with that, and they already know what it is. You don't have to explain anything if you are who you say you are. So I just think they're trying to hate and say, oh, you're this and that, trying to argue with them and justify this or explain why. You're honestly just wasting your time, and you're feeding into what they want. They want to see, oh, this person's mad, oh, I got them aggravated, so I'm really like messing with them. I'm doing something in their life. They're giving me attention, and that's their way of winning. So as long as you're truthful with yourself and you're aware of your own self-worth, I think that's what really matters. Now, I'm not saying, like, obviously if someone, I don't know, calls you every curse word in the book, I'm not saying you probably won't look at that crazy, like, bro, damn, like, what did he say F me for? Like, that 50 Cent, like, that 50 Cent thing, like, what do you say F me for? Like, what did I do? You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, obviously that you should feel like that. I would be like, bro, what did I do? Like, I ain't do nothing wrong. But, like, at the end of the day, you replying and, getting all riled up and just going with the Twitter thing, like, it's not that deep, bro. You're just wasting time. Like, obviously, you should, not even you should, you probably will, and you can feel some type of way about it, but just think about it, like, this person's probably just projecting. They're not even they're not even worth my time because they're just dwelling on life and they're a pessimist. So why would I even waste my time replying to them when I could do something else in my life, maybe spend time with someone else, or go for a run, or go get some miles and go for a lift, or go make a good meal or something like that. Just do something else in my life and actually make a dent in my life. You know what I'm saying? So third thing, hate is a projection. When people are just throwing darts at you and saying crazy stuff and just saying a whole bunch of tomfoolery, they're honestly just, it's a reflection of who they are and what they're dealing with in their own life. And that's a whole nother thing too that they need to deal with. But fourth thing, which I kind of just explained with this section, the last section, being the bigger person. I just think sitting there and trying to argue, and honestly, it's just based on common sense and experience. That's the easy wrong. The easy wrong is just to sit there and argue and argue and argue and just try and explain it and validate why you're not that and you're this. But I mean, the hard right is just to turn away and just not do anything. I mean, this applies to even like physical occurrence. I mean, unless someone's like literally trying to kill you, I mean, that's a life or death situation. I mean, do what you got to do, but within reason. But I mean, when someone's like trying to fight you, just trying to like scrap with you or whatever, I mean, honestly, bro, like, walk away. Like, it's not even that deep. You don't gotta, you don't gotta prove that you're gangster or you're out here jugging and whoop the whoop. Like, bro, like, just walk away. It's not even that worth time, because if you do fight and it escalates, you could be, y'all both be in jail and then your life is cooked, so you're done. So I mean, that's a kind of an extreme example, but that applies to it too. People might be trying to spew hate like to your face and trying to fight you over it, and do some interesting things. But I just think it obviously doesn't, like I just mentioned, doesn't feel good to for people to say things about you and lie about you and just say a whole bunch of nonsense, to be honest. But I just think if you already know who you are and what your mission is and what you're trying to get out of life, obviously that evolves over time, but you already know what you're trying to strive for and what you're trying to progress towards. Why waste your time? Like, it's not really a point of interest in the thing you should be focused on. But I just realized I kind of went into that a little bit on the third section, so I'm gonna kind of keep this one a little bit more concise because I kind of already explained that. But basically, just honestly, when people start hating and start talking that rah, please, for the life of me, just go the other way. Unless it's like a life or death situation, which is kind of rare, to be honest. Like, bro, just like, honestly, at this point, like, because I would say I dealt with a decent amount of hate in middle school. As I got older, like, I just started laughing. I'm like, if they say something like, they're like, oh, like, bro, why do you run like that? Or like, why do you hoop, like, why is your shooting form like that, whoop the whoop? Or like, why do you like Nirvana? I don't know. I just be like, it's like, okay. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, all right, cool. Like, I just leave it at that and just keep it pushing. I mean, it's not saying, I want to mention this. It's not to say that you're just a robot and you're not going to think about it, acknowledge it in your head, obviously. But at the end of the day, you got to move on. You got to keep pushing and then keep stacking bricks and keep being consistently good. So I just don't think it's really worth your time to waste time dwelling on if someone said something or if they're lying on you or not, or whatever the case may be. But the last part I kind of want to talk about here is just hate is more attractive than love. I mean, showing love to others and prioritizing positivity should be the first choice, but it doesn't sell as well as hating on others. I mean, I kind of compare this to people lying about nutrition and saying, oh, you need to go keto or you need to go paleo or you need to be vegan, or it sells more. I mean, lying and making up things and trying to make up magic serums and shortcuts, it sells because people don't want the real. I mean, in reality, spending time hating on someone is more gratifying than saying, oh, like, good job, like, keep it going, like, supporting their mission and supporting what they're trying to do. It's so much more gratifying for, most of society, from what I've seen, to just knock someone down rather than build someone up, which is kind of interesting to me. I mean, I just think when you really click with a tribe and you really, I think in my opinion, the main thing is just not core. There's no core values. There's no integrity. There's no discipline. There's no respect for yourself or others. Because if you don't have respect for yourself or others, you're just going to blabber and just say crazy things about them and just knock them down because you just don't care about anything. If you really did care about anything and you had, a sense of morality and a sense of self-worth and just worth for the world around you, you wouldn't feel the need to do that. And kind of like I mentioned, like obviously I like a good joke, but at a certain point that joke just turns into gossip, and you just pulling things out of thin air and just applying to someone and just reposting it. It just gets interesting. But I just think the main thing is just be focused on, obviously not every day is going to be sunshines and rainbows. You're not always going to be super happy and think positively, but when it comes to spewing certain things and certain energies, you shouldn't be spewing negativity, because there's already a lot of stuff going on in the world, and everybody's trying to figure it out just as much as you. So you trying to knock them down, that could literally, for some people, that could literally stop their whole thing and start their whole journey over. So I think just be careful what you say and how you kind of carry yourself around people, and just what type of energy you're spewing out to the world, and what type of energy you're trying to carry. But other than that, I was talking about hate. 'Cause I mean, like a couple of days ago, I experienced some people kind of like just being kind of pessimistic and kind of gossiping a little bit. So I mean, just turning the other way, I realized it's not even worth it. Like, it's not even worth your time. 'Cause honestly, you just waste time, and you waste the thought and the energy just trying to question why they said that. Or, it's just, honestly, there's better things to be doing. There's better things to learn about, and you live and you learn. So anyway, that was episode 61, just talking about negativity and hate, like I kind of said. But other than that, that's all I got for y'all today. But that was the episode, and I'll see y'all next time.